Hey, bless up, bless up, bless up. What's going on, fam? How y'all doing? It's a beautiful, beautiful Monday afternoon. It rained like crazy all day today. It just constant was like a cloud over. The cloud was like a, I don't know. I don't know. The weather kind of mess with your mood, fam? I don't know about you, but does the weather mess with your mood? When it's cloudy, overcast, it does seem to mess with my mood versus when it's sunny and bright. I seem to be a little bit more, got a little pep in my step. I seem to feel a little bit greater. But this morning was a challenging morning. We left early on time, maybe a little bit later than we normally do. And man, we was on the interstate for a couple of hours. The interstate was shut down. I-10 was shut down this morning. And I'm praying that everybody ended up okay, but it was a pile up on I-10 just outside of Tallahassee. And the pile up, someone was ejected. I don't know whether they were ejected out of the car or whatever, but somehow they went over the bridge and they landed on the railroad tracks. And according to the news article, our news is not the greatest around here. They don't, for some reason, I don't know. They don't really want to go in and dive in and really tell what really is going on. So, someone was fell over the bridge and fell on some railroad tracks, and then they had to go in, use a crane, drop the crane down, the boom down, and go ahead and get them lifted and pull the people up. So that's how our morning started. Rain, drizzly. People, for some reason, when it rains, people drive fast in traffic. I do not understand that. Or some people may not necessarily drive fast, which I believe they do. They try to keep the consistent speed that they normally do when the road conditions are not favorable to that. And your car, some people got low profile tires, some people got not aqua tread tires, and then some of the tires that people do have, it throws rain all over your tires. As you can tell, I really don't care nothing about interstates. I try to take rural roads as much as I can. But Gigi, on the hand, I married this young fast girl, so she liked to take life on the edge a little bit. I like to kind of old school, go on a country road, take my time. Accident happened, you just go loop around it, keep on going, make sure everybody's okay, and just keep on going. Interstate, it can shut everything down. You be down for hours, you don't know what's going on, and you just sitting in traffic, you don't know where to cut your car off, cut your car on, leave your car on, and it can go on for miles and miles. Um, and yeah, it's different. Everything is different. Years ago, I didn't mind traveling interstates, but now I totally don't like them. Period. It's almost like other things. Anytime where it's masses of people and it's a popular road, I don't care whether it's in life, entertainment, whether it's adventures or whatever. Anytime, oh, we all doing it. We all going down this road. This is the way we want to go. Typically, I really don't care too much. And maybe call me a little bit old in my ways or whatever. I'm kind of settling in here and I'm comfortable with not putting myself in those situations. So, nevertheless, we still live in this world. We still got to coexist. We still got to do everything we need to do, which is going to tie into what I'm going to talk about. But I want to welcome everybody on in. Bless up, bless up, bless up. What's going on, family man? What's going on, my brother? Good to see you, my brother. Good to see you. Good to see you on in. Good evening, D Jackson. What's going on, D Jackson? MHW. What's going on, MHW? Good to see you. Good to see you. Miss Shirley OG Gardner. What's going on, Miss Shirley OG? Good to see you. Yeah, my friend. I don't know what happened with the accident. I heard, this is hearsay. Appreciate them teas in the chat. It's Monday. You still can be thankful. Every day be thankful. Every single day be thankful. Put some T's in the chat. Y'all already know the drill. You coming to live. you need to first say, man, I made it to another live. I'm able to see, hear, smell, touch, feel, or whatever. Even if you're lacking one of those things, you still are blessed, right? Put some T's in the chat. Say thank you. Thank you. Not to me, but to the Most High. Say thank you, thank you, thank you. But yeah, somehow somebody ends up over the bridge, and this bridge, I mean, they fell a long ways. They said that the person was conscious, they were alert, but they did deem them in critical condition. So I don't know. My prayers go out. They say it was at least 6 cars involved into the pileup. And I just want everybody to just pay attention to this weather. We got some snow coming on in the Midwest, in Georgia, in the Carolinas, in the Tennessee areas. They say, well, according to Ryan Hall, he says there's going to be waves upon waves of this kind of unique cold weather. But he said, don't panic. Ryan Hall says, don't panic, because it's going to happen. But all of this is going to tie into what I got to talk to you about, because I want to take you down memory lane. If you grew up in the 80s and the 90s, you're going to really feel what I'm talking about. Those of you that may grew up in times a little bit more recent, please hang on. Let us reminisce. Let us have our own days. Let us go through this thing. But we're going to tie it in and bring you into it, because the whole strategy of what I want to talk about today is, where do we move moving forward? And how do we make sure we prepared with moving forward? Because we will not be in a comfort zone like we have known to be within the last 30 years. Even during certain situations, everybody can take a decade and think about the negativity, whether it's crack, whether it's AIDS, whether it's pandemic. Every decade, at least, you can come up with something. But overall, the decade produced a lot of beautiful, amazing things that we can learn and we can apply to our days. Let me ask you a question. As a kid growing up, I grew up in South Georgia, and I can just talk about that. I can't talk about a lot of stuff, but when we grew up in South Georgia, there's things that we did growing up that I don't think kids do no more. Like, for instance, let me give you an example. I used to walk during middle school. When I first moved to the city, even though now I look at it, it's still the country, I would walk home to school. First, I rode my bike, right? I love riding my bike. I rode my bike, but I noticed there were some friends that I would end up pushing my bike because the conversation was so bomb walking that I ended up not riding my bike. And later on, I stopped taking my bike to school, because when we left middle school and the bell rang, I don't know whether the bell rang or whether it's digital or whatever right now, but there used to be a real physical bell, and it would just vibrate in your ears. Y'all, every time I say something that you connect with during this live, I want you to put in the number 1 in the chat. Put in number 1. You can connect what I'm saying. Put in number 1. If you can't connect, put in number 2, because I want to keep my youth engaged too. You can't connect, put in number 2. So I remember growing up in middle school, the bell would ring at various times when it's time to start school, before it's time to change classes, and then when we change class, and then after we start the class, the bell would ring. Fam, I don't know if y'all remember that. Put some ones if you remember that. But I remember in middle school, I would go and I would walk with a group of my peers, and we would just talk about what happened during the day. We would talk about what we got going on, and we would just fellowship. We would walk down the sidewalk. Sometimes it wasn't sidewalks, sometimes it was just roads. And then we had pathways. Sometimes we cut through people's yards. Sometimes we cut through businesses. Sometimes we cut through church yards. There was this, in that town, we would go down the hill, and then we'll go and we'll cut through a church yard, and we'll go up through a path. It was a wooden path. And everybody had stories about people going in them woods and people coming out of them woods. And even though you were 13, 14 years old or 12 years old, you believed all those mystical stories. Come on, Gigi, hit me up. I know I messed up that word, but you hear all of these crazy words, right? I mean, these crazy stories. And then you believed them, and they were passed on, and they were just kind of tweaked from generation to generation. That's something that I don't think a lot of our youth today's times, would you really trust your 11, 12, 10-year-old to walk down the street, to walk 3, 4, 5, 6 miles home with a group of kids? Would you trust that right now? That's something that I don't think we will get back again. Would you trust your child walking, jumping over little snakes in the pathway, or walking down a wooded pathway to end up in the backyard of a person in a neighborhood house, and then hit that path through the backyard of that person's house and come out on the road and then complete your journey? It's just certain things that just didn't happen. Don't happen right now, but it happened then. Y'all remember when we used to play tag? We'll run around cars, we'll run around trees. Somebody will touch you. Now we don't even shake hands when we talk no more. We don't even allow no one to touch us. Some of us are still wearing masks. And I'm not knocking none of this, but I'm just saying the difference, the contrast to what used to be versus now. If y'all remember that, hit me up. Let me go to the chat. Let me see if anybody remember that. Timothy, what's going on? Good evening. Good evening to you too, my brother. What's going on? MHW Field. You remember that? You remember when we used to take a walk home and tell stories, or maybe even talk about what happened, or talk about the upcoming dance? Y'all don't remember the dance when we had to come up with 50 cents, 75 cents, $1? And we look forward to a dance that's going to happen the end of this month. Or we were saving up for, February will be here for, Valentine. How many folks remember Valentine? When you're trying to decide who you're going to take to the dance or who you're going to go to the dance with. Do y'all remember that for us boys growing up, y'all, you remember when you was like, man, I need a date to the dance. What's up, Darth X? What's going on? Anyone take shortcuts to the field with fruit trees? You don't even see the fruit tree. We used to eat pecans. I'm in South Georgia. Pecans. During the wintertime, fall time, wintertime, we would get Piggly Wiggly bags. Some of y'all don't understand about Piggly Wiggly bags. We'll get paper Piggly Wiggly bags. And you fill up a bag, you got probably about $15 to $20 per bag, sometimes even more. That was life-changing, man. You could collect multiple bags and then trade them bags in, and you have enough to get your wardrobe for the rest of the school year. You have enough to take care of your lunch. You have enough to go out and eat. You have enough money to just kind of play around with. As a child, I'm talking about as a child. Yeah, it take you a few days to go ahead and collect them pecans, but we used to go and go up under the pecan tree, and we'll fill up them. We'll double layer the bags and then fill it up with pecans. But wait a minute, you messed me up, Dorothy. Let me stay on. Do y'all remember having conversation? You can talk the whole 4 or 5 miles. You ain't even notice that whether it was hot, cold, rainy, or whatever. It didn't matter. So let me tell you about my personal journey. Every time when we first left the yard of the school, the bell would ring. We'll meet up at an oak tree in front of the middle school. And there was a main road that came through. And we will meet up at that oak tree. And when everybody there, we'll start slowly walking. And some kids, they had enough money where we could stop by the store on the way, because there was a corner store that we used to stop by. And if you had some money, some of y'all didn't have no money, some of us didn't have no money, and we shared, penny wheel cookies. We shared blow pops. We shared nine and laters. We shared all kinds of candy coated peanuts. I can't remember them. Baked beans. We shared all of that. Lemon heads, all of that stuff. And we would get one box. Some of us only had 10 cents. And out of the 10 cents, it'd be 4 or 5 of us. We'd get one box of that lemon head. And then we'll open up the lemon head and then we'll share it amongst each other, pour out 1 or 2 amongst each other. And we'll slowly suck on it, eat on it, whatever, all the way. We'll walk down railroad tracks and we'll hop and see who could last the longest balancing themselves on the railroad track as we walk down the railroad track. And then some of us used to race. You know, some of the competitive boys used to walk, because we'll walk with the girls and everything. And then we'll see who could walk the fastest and who could last the longest on the railroad track. Everything was creative. It was a game, fam. I don't know. Y'all put some ones so you can feel what I'm saying now. If you can't feel what I'm saying, I'm gonna come and tap on your door, hopefully. Let's see. Country Hustle 101. What's going on? You feel me? One. He got that one in there. He remembers some of this. Shalom, how you doing, Toy? How you doing? Good to see you. Timothy definitely remembers. I feel you. Y'all remember? I am Janet. Alexis, you new. Thank you. Welcome in. If you're not new, you've been in the bushes, I still appreciate you coming. You remember, you can connect that. I don't know. That icon looks like you a little bit young. I don't know if you really remember that, but good. In elementary school, I rode a bike. You don't see that. Dog things, you feel me? Man, I rode a bike to school. Now, this is the crazy thing. Most of the time, getting up in the morning, because sometimes our crew didn't get up. And sometimes the girls get taken to school. And sometimes the boys, they get up. Sometimes they late, whatever. So typically, in the morning, I'll ride my bike. And then I push my bike home when we going on the way to the house. And we'll talk about our day. We'll talk about teachers. We'll talk about kids in class. We'll talk about joke who. We'll talk about lunch. We just talk about what's coming on TV. Do y'all remember what used to come on TV? When we used to plan the schedule, what came on TV. When you used to take the newspaper and turn to a certain section in your newspaper, and then you look at the listings to see what's coming up this week. And then you look and you saw the channel that you like, because most of the time we didn't have a lot of cable growing up with me. So what I would do, we had solid channels that we had, like channel 9, channel 10. Channel 9 came out of Columbus, Georgia. Channel 3 came out of Columbus, Georgia. Channel 10 came out of Albany, Georgia. You know what I'm saying? Channel 2 was on PBS. All of that. Channel 31 was what the New Day Modern Fox, before it was Fox. It came out of Albany. All of these in Waycross. We used to, on a good day when the weather was right and you could turn your antennas to a certain part, and your aluminum foil was on your antennas in a certain way that you could move it a certain way, and the weather seemed to be a little bit shady. You can get extra channels. Sometimes you can get Atlanta channels, number 2. If y'all don't know nothing about number 2, when it came in Georgia growing up, number 2 was Atlanta, Georgia. You get that real channel, you see what I'm saying? And you get to see all the different things that's going on, because that's the only way you knew. You didn't have social media. You didn't have Twitter. You didn't have Facebook. You knew about things after it happened months ago. And then you just getting it. You just learning that information. It was delayed gratification. You knew the awards happened because you read it in a magazine that told you that certain awards were going to happen. And it happened on a certain day, but you didn't catch it on that day. But you had to wait to the recording. And then once they cut it, they edited it, they chopped it and all of that. And you sat there and you wait. Just say right now it's January the 13th. And come Thursday or Friday, you might get your interrupted shows that you wait to, you religiously looked at every single week. And then they got interrupted for this award show. And you sat there and you wait. And looked at your calendar and you knew in 2 more weeks you're going to get to see this award show and you might get to see an artist, you know what I'm saying, that you like. If you came from the African Americans, you might get one artist in the event. They might perform. They didn't necessarily present nothing. They might do a little clip, or they might even do a little interview, and you waited for that special moment for 2 to 3 weeks just to see 30, 40 seconds for them to just come in and see and live, and you just smiled and you felt good and you high-fived everybody. You felt good, you know. Y'all put a one of y'all can relate to that. If you can't, I get it. I get it. I get it. I understand. Your bicycle was everything growing up, fam. You missed those days? I feel you. I feel you. Things are different. Things are different. Hey, what's up, Green Grass Groves? What's going on? Bless up, bless up, bless up, bless up. Penny Candy. Yeah, Penny Candy. Where, you know what? I'm glad you talked about that. I am Janet Alexis. Do you remember when you could go to your grandmama's house or maybe your grandmama neighbor and they say, can you please take this potted plant and then put it up on my porch out the sun because I watered it and now I want to put it back on the porch, and you barely struggling, you barely moving up them steps, and you put it on the porch. And when you sit on the porch, the water oozing out, leaking out. And then you do it, they give you 5 cents, they give you 10 cents, they might give you 7 cents. And you feel like you just won the lottery. I don't know if you feel what I'm saying. Because in every neighborhood in the South, down whatever side of town that you grew up on, there were 1 or 2 stores that you can go to. See, on the south side of that little small town I grew up in, they had multiple stores. We had Miss Bessie. We had most people didn't go to Willie Walton. He was mainly there for the grown folks. You know what I'm saying? We had Miss Fuse. Miss Fuse was the trusted, dusted one that we really would go to. Miss Fuse was, you go to her house. It was a house. It was a 2-story house, like a shotgun style, but it was 2-story. The bottom, when you walk in, it had a little white picket fence. It was trimmed. It was a white house made out of wood, trimmed in green. I'll never forget it. And then you go through her little picket fence, and she got her little yard. And then you walk up the stairs, and when you open up her front door, you had the parlor off to the side, but it was a store right there when you walked in. And you walked in on the wooden floors, and wood floors creak, and the bell rung when you hit the door. And then she'll come out from back in the house, and she'll walk out there. And she say, hey, baby, how you doing? She knew our name. She knew our grandmama. She knew our mama. She knew everybody. We'll come in there. We got our 6, 7, 10. You balling if you had 25 cents. Now, I'm talking about the 80s now. You balling you had 25 cents. And you knew you could get some cookies. You can get some candy. You might even, you get lucky, you had 50 cents or 25 cents. You might get a pickle, you know, pig feet, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So jungle juice is 15 cents, jungle juice for 15 cents. And we'll get those cartons and we'll drink a little of that jungle juice. We'll fold it up, we'll close it up, and then we'll suck on the carton to make it last, you know. If you drink it and down, you ain't drinking it down. You know, you had to make it last because you knew this was a special moment. You knew that these moments don't happen every single day. This just don't happen every single day. These was a special situation, and you had to make everything last. I had a cousin, man, he was so tight. He's tight to this day. He still got a bunch of, the boy rich. But anyway, I remember he would suck on a 9 later, and he'll take it out of his mouth and put it back in the wrapper and put it back in the pack. And he'll save it in his pocket, or he'll put it away. And then when everybody else is finished, he'll open up that little pack and he'll take out that 9 later he first sucked on and suck on a little bit more. He'll put it back in the pack, and then it'll be next week. He still got that same pack on about 2 9 later deep, man. He's the same way with money to this day. Worked 2 or 3 jobs most of his life and just packed like a pack rat because he didn't have nothing. He understood that you work hard, you put it aside, you save it, you build on it. Now, some people may look at him and say now, with his looking at his house, look at his truck, look at the cars, look at his trucks, look at his cars, look at his homes, and you say, man, this cat got it going on. But you don't see what he did behind the scenes. From a child all the way up to adult. I'm listening at more and more of my youth. They want the result of what we've been through, but they don't want to go through it. Let me say that one more time. They want the result of what we've been through and what we accomplished, but they don't want to go through the journey of their own. And I'm watching more opportunity out here, just like we had opportunities. Our opportunity was different. It could be raking a yard. It could be cleaning out a flower bed. It could be sweeping. It could be washing people's dishes. It could be washing floors, mopping floors, cleaning windows. It could be a variety of different things. It could be just going to the store and bringing something back. You used to get paid to do different kinds of stuff. It could be sitting in the house watching the kids while the parents went. Because back then, people trusted people. You know what I'm saying? People trusted you. And they knew your lineage. They knew your people. They knew what cloth you cut from. Because whether you had money or whether you didn't, your name and your family and your reputation meant something. It was times when we didn't have abundance. It was time when we didn't have. But guess what we had? We had our name, we had our word, we had our reputation. When people say, I'll be by there, they knew you were going to be by there. When people say, I will follow up, they meant they will follow up. When times you didn't feel like following up, you still followed up because your word was your bond, right? Word is bond, right? Your word was your foundation. Your commitment was your foundation. It was time when you had compassion. I don't care when I grew up on the south side, across the tracks, in the neighborhood where we had our doctors, our lawyers, we had our ministers, we had our cab drivers, we had our funeral homes, we had our own everything, midwives, we had everything contained. You know what we had to do? When my big mama told me to go down and do such and such or go check on such and such and then find if they need anything or do anything, I had to go do it. Because as a young boy, it's times my big mama told me, go check on Miss such and such. Knock on her door and find out if she doing okay. And let me know how she doing. Most of the time we go in our garage. I said it before. We hitting the garage remote before we even pull in the driveway. We hitting that garage mode before we see our neighbors outside. We hitting that garage mode. We driving on in. And we closing it before we get out the car. And then we're going to wait or send our children out or somebody before we go check the mailbox to make sure we don't. Or if we do go check the mailbox, we got some device in our ear. We making sure that y'all can see it. You talking loud, ain't even on the phone, to make sure that you don't have to speak or interact with somebody next to you. I think about the people that go through these tragic situations. We got people, my birthplace, Japan, right? And I'm looking at earthquakes in Japan. My heart goes out to the family in Japan, to the people in Japan, right? I'm looking at, they said there was earthquakes even in California. We look at news like it ain't nothing. We're looking at icons that paved the way for us. We see a blip or in our timeline where they pass and we mean nothing. I remember going back to growing up, walking those paths in middle school on our way home as a group. We bonded together. Didn't nobody mess with us because we were together, boys and girls, right? We played, we laughed, we joked each other. And guess what we did? Along our path, we stopped at a convenience store, but we made sure we went in a convenience store together. We looked out for each other. And if somebody came up short when they got to the register, we all stuck our finger in our pockets, even though we didn't think we had anything. But sometimes we might have got lucky and get a penny, and we made sure that we looked out for each other. Because we knew when we walked out of the store, we were going to share whatever we had, right? So when one came up, we all came up. Then when one walked down the street, we all walked as one. And as we slowly went from house to house, the number got smaller and smaller, and our bond got tighter and tighter, because the ones at the end of the journey, those few, they were closer than the ones that started at the beginning of the journey. Same thing with life, fam. I remember we used to pass, this funeral home still is in existence to this day, from the late 1800s all the way up to now, maybe 1901 or something like that. But guess what we used to do? We used to stop in that funeral home when we were walking home, us kids, and we used to go in that funeral home and then go see who's passed away. And we would always dare each other. I remember some of the kids stayed outside. They did not go in there. They waited on us outside on the sidewalk. But some of us, the daredevils, we walked in there, and then we made this bet that if you touch one of them, you'll pay for the next cookies, or you pay for the next gum, or you pay for the next thing. It was crazy stuff. And yeah, they'll chase us out of there and tell us, get out of there, get out, y'all get out of here, you know. But we laughed and we played and we had fun. And we just bonded with each other, you know what I'm saying? And it was no schisms and isms or none of that stuff. We were there for each other. Now, did we agree all the time? No. Sometimes we joked too much, and sometimes we offended each other. And sometimes one person might, for a week, not walk with us because you pissed them off. And then guess what happened? We end up as a group saying, why you don't walk with us no more? And then such and such be like, I don't like such and such. And then they'll apologize. Go ahead and apologize. We'll get back together and we'll connect back together. But we communicated. We had a conversation. Not every day is going to be pleasant. It was sometimes it rained and we had to stand inside the convenience store on the ledge and wait till it calmed down, and then we'll still end up running home in the rain, soaked. And we'll do it all over the next day. Sometimes it was cold. We didn't talk. We all just walked. And we just bundled up as much as we could. And we didn't really say too much along the way sometimes. But we just still did what we needed to do. Sometimes it was hot. Sometimes the weather was great. Sometimes we got chased by dogs. Sometimes people blow horns at us. Sometimes people told us get out of their yard when we took an extra shortcut when we knew we could have went this way, but it was cold and we took an extra shortcut, right? Sometimes we did see plum trees and we did pick in some plum trees and we ain't had no business picking out the plum trees. But guess what? Didn't nobody shoot us. Didn't nobody threaten us. Didn't nobody call the law on us. Because we were just kids, and they understand we were just kids. There was a compassion for man. There was a commonality, a relatability to man. It was no harsh meanness, no restrictive lifestyle. We were free. We were creative. We explored. We had fun. We used our imagination. Some of us, we always knew which one it was, and some people joined the walk on certain days versus other days, depends on their activities. But one would always be in the line telling us stories. We knew they were lying, but we loved the story. We loved the journey. Some of them over exaggerated what happened. You know, no, you just got beat up in a fight, but now you told the story like you won. You know, or it was field day and you claim you want the ribbon when we know you didn't win the ribbon. Somebody dropped the ribbon and you found that ribbon. You picked the ribbon up because we were there at the game. We know you ain't even compete. You ain't even do it. But we listen, we entertain. And matter of fact, we may even add on the story. And what happened when he turned around and you were dusting them off? You know, we egged on because it was entertainment. It was a time when we didn't take everything so serious. We knew they was giving us a bunch of bags of lies, and we just played along with it, and we just kept it going. We didn't get offended. We didn't block nobody. We didn't kick them out. We didn't do none of that stuff. We just kept the laughter going from day to day. And we knew people for what they were. And when people tell you who they are, you have to believe them. We believed them. We trusted them. When a liar tell you that they're a liar, when a person that backstab tell you to backstab, we knew them. And we'll joke you at the same time. Man, we know you ain't a bit more going to support nobody. We know you're going to do such and such and such and such. And then they'll laugh, and then they go find somebody that don't know no better, and then they go get some out of them. Like, hey, I got to use the bathroom. Well, you might as well go outside. Well, no, the people that didn't know no better, oh, you got to use the bathroom? Yeah, can I come inside and use your bathroom? See, we knew certain people, you don't let them come inside your house. You don't let them use the bathroom. You need to use the bathroom, you go back out there in the bushes and you do what you need to do. But some people, that they were green, they didn't know. Oh, okay, in that case, I know my mom's not home. You can come inside, you can use the bathroom. Then when they go in the bathroom, you still outside playing with your other friends, and then they going through your drawers and your mama drawers, and they pulling out 50 cents, $1, whatever they can find to stuff in their pockets, and then walk out. And then when they come to you, they laugh and say, boy, they got money laying all around their house. They got chain laying all the way around their house. And we knew those. We knew how they were. And then guess what happened? When they was impacted and affected by it, they knew too what type of person that was too. And now if they continue to let them in their house because they want to have a friend, because we did have friends that didn't mind for people stealing from them, didn't mind for the people taking from them, didn't mind for people treating them like crap, but they just wanted a friend. We accepted people for what they were, and we acknowledged people for what they were. But life is different now. Everybody wants to be hard. No one wants to open up. No one wants to share. No one wants to work through relationships. No one wants to cultivate those things. Now, what we do, I remember if you wanted to watch a movie, some of our biggest struggles, let's talk about some of our biggest heartaches. Do you remember when you used to go to the movie theater? I mean, not movie. You remember you used to rent when VHS came out, and you go and you'll spend about an hour or two. This is a weekend date or whatever, You go to the video warehouse or go to whatever movie warehouse, and then you'll go and look at the covers on the big old thing, and then you look and see if there's a video in there. If it ain't no video, typically it's not there. Long ago when people started stealing, then they started putting it back behind there. But then you look for the little card or whatever. And then the biggest thing that your stress was after you viewed that movie to make sure you rewind it. Because if you didn't rewind that VHS and you took it back, you knew you were going to get a charge. And some of us didn't pay that charge when we took it back. We'll just drop it in the drop box, or we'll just slide it on the table and we'll walk right out. But the next time we go around, we got an extra charge when we get ready to rent. That was stressful in our world. When you see that hand on a quarter of a tank and you're not sure whether you're going to be able to make it to school and make it back. As a teenager, that was stressful. You know what I'm saying? You didn't know whether you're going to have to ride the bus this week, man. If I ain't got enough gas, I'm going to have to ride the bus. Nothing more embarrassing than here you are, you got a nice, clean car, and you riding your car and you profiling your car. You got your little knock in the car, and then you realize, hey, I ain't got no gas money. I had this guy who used to show up in my house early in the morning to my Mr. Bus. And he didn't want to ride the bus. He wanted to ride in the car with me. And then the moment I say, look, this will happen a couple of times, fam. You gotta put some gas in the tank. They come up with 50 million excuses. And I'm like, you need to give me $2-3, man, every day. Man, who got to put gas in there? You're going the same way you were going there, and you ride with me? That's extra weight. You got to put a gallon of gas in this bad boy. This thing don't run off of oxygen. But we used to could tell each other that. We used to be straight up. And guess what? He might not show up the next day. But guess what? We saw each other at school, and he got on that bus, and he got up early enough to ride that bus. And guess what happened? We dapped each other up. What's up, man? What's going on, man? Man, you be doing me dog dirty, man. You be trying to charge me to ride to school. You come the same way, and and because in this world, you either get God or get getting. So which one you gonna do? You gotta choose your side. I had to make my own lunch. Now they have food services. And some of us won't even eat the food service. I remember plenty of folk didn't even eat what it was there. And now the food back then was so much better than it is now. Oh my goodness, man. They got full-fledged restaurants in these schools now, man. They didn't even have vending machines when I first went to school. All the way up. It wasn't until I got to high school. High school blowed my mind. People were smoking on campus. You got a smoking section. What in the world? They had vending machines. They had Lover's Lane. We had a multi-level school. It was on a hill embankment. And in Lover's Lane, there'll be little couples all hugged up, going up down the stairway. They smoking in there. They got they what they call it, the Walkman playing. You can hear the earphones around it. They seemed like they were so cool. They smoking, and the girls and the boys smoking, and you walk through there, you like trying to be cool, trying not to cough. You know you about to cough, and you just going there to be nosy. You ain't smoking nothing. You just want to get in there and be nosy, see what's going on, and see who paired up with who. You know, most time you see they fade because they all smothered up. And it was dark. They knock out the light bulbs, and then the gentleman be going crazy, get pissed off because he got to sweep up all them cigarette butts and all the other stuff. I don't know. Life hit different back then. Was it good? Was it bad? I don't know. But it was different. It was different. Now, man, I watched my girls growing up. They had one or two interactions with a few people, and they don't even say goodbye to each other. They just go get in the car. They do whatever, and you drive up, and they go straight, boom, boom, boom. It's just weird. We used to be late to class because our conversation was too good. And when they did lockers, oh my goodness, lockers, they had to give us another 15 minutes between changing class because of lockers. And in high school, we had a big old wide campus. If you was a freshman, you was over there in the vote building, and your locker was about this big with this many books, and you paid for the locker, which was a sacrifice, and you could put about one or two books in there, but you would have to walk all the way to the other end of the campus, even though your class is right here. And all the upperclassmen, they had all their lockers, big old lockers right there in the center of the school where it was convenient for everybody. And all the jocks and everything, they hang out at their locker. And now the upper class would rent you a spot in their locker if you didn't want to go to the vote building to go all the way down there, because you didn't have time to change every time. You still carried the big old book bag. So you always knew the freshmen and the sophomore from the juniors and the seniors, because the junior and senior walk around with maybe a notepad and one book. And then we like, on a trip, carrying 10, 15 pounds worth of wood in our back all curled up. And some of them were like 98-pound students or 78-pound students, and you just carrying about 30, 40 pounds on your back. And it was a hilly campus, and you going up the campus, you all the way down there to the gym. You got to go all the way to the other side to the vote building. Oh, yes, we had vocational training where you could go to school and you could take plumbing, carpentry, mechanics, electronics, electrical. While you're in high school, they actually had cars that would come in there. They even had painting and upholstery where you could bring in your car, to the school, your bucket, your hoopty, and say, hey, I want to put nice vinyl, redo the vinyl in here, and you pay for the vinyl, whatever, and we'll get a nice upholstery job. It wasn't top notch because it's high school student, but hey, man, the price, you couldn't beat it. And you could afford it. You get your car fixed on, get your AC down, you go ahead and pull it into the shop, you talk to the teacher be like, okay, well, I think we can do that. You bring in your car, and then they put in a compressor in there, they put the Freon in there and all that, and all you had to do is pay for the materials. And the materials weren't stupid crazy. Freon was the highest thing that you had to pay for. Sometimes the compressor costs less, especially if you got a used one. Compressor costs less than the Freon cans you had to put in them. But that was high school. One-stop shopping. They used to do hair. They used to do home ec. All of that in school. Yes, in school, high school. But what happened, fam? What happened? Imagine if we kept track with what we did back then, how would Vote School look now? You'll have robotics, you'll have AI, you'll have coding, you will have soldering, you will have all kinds of stuff, right? Programming, you'll have gaming, you'll have app building, you'll have all kinds of content creators, you'll have all kinds of different trainings and different things that you can apply to your every single day life. What happened, fam? Why we got away from being technical? Why everything got $1 and a price on it? You went to school, you got the opportunity to do that. You chose your career path. You sat down with a counselor, and the counselor actually cared about you, knew your name, knew your mama name, your grandmama, and everybody, your uncles and your cousins, and they be like, hey, what you trying to do? Matter of fact, you walking down the hall and your counselor might pull you to the side and give you a pass from your math class and come sit down and have a talk with you to find out how you doing today. They could tell when you might be down, or they heard that somebody passed in your family, and then they pulling you to the side and say, I'm sorry to hear about your uncle or your grandparent. Are you okay? How you doing? Do we need to go home? What happened to when the teacher used to come to your house multiple times a year, sit down with you and your parents? I'll never forget Miss Gary. Miss Gary, God bless her soul, she passed away. Awesome teacher. We got poison ivy every single year together, and she would share with me her poison ivy cream. I had her, I think, in first and second grade. We would collect insects and reptiles, and we'll bring them to school, and we'll put them in the aquarium, and especially the ones that were hurt, that we found that were hurt, we would bring them in, and she would share with me. Sometimes she would come, take me home, sit down with me and help me with a lesson that I was struggling with. She saw where I was struggling with certain things, and she would come sit down at my table and walk me through and help me through some of the things to get me back on track. She'll give me certain lessons to help me earn extra credit, to get me back on track. There was a relationship. There was camaraderie. We walked outside. She would walk outside barefooted in the woods with me, because we were surrounded. She lived not too far from me up the road. Walking, it was far, but driving, it wasn't far. But she would walk out there in the woods, and we'll go collect stuff for our science project, because our teachers actually did the same homework that we did, and they shared their homework. They did science projects. They would actually do the science projects themselves too and share with what they did, versus y'all do this and y'all do this, throw it here, throw it there, and then we'll see, we'll check it, or I'll check it, or what have you. There was camaraderie, fellowship. There was interaction. They knew us. They could tell whether we had a good day or bad day. They didn't use that to plot against us. They knew we was going through things, Matter of fact, they pulled up on us and then they came back and consoled us. When we fell on the playground, they already had a kit that helped us. They walked us to the nurse's station. The nurse knew, especially our boys. We was always scarred up. Oh, what you did again, Eco. There you go. You scarred up again. Come on, come on. And then they'll put a smiley face on that bandage. They put a smiley face on that Band-Aid. Made you feel like you was cool. When you used to come to school with a cast on it, everybody wanted to sign it. Everybody wanted to write their name on the cast. It was like a badge of honor. You know what I'm saying? It was a sense of community. It was a sense of fellowship. But now we're in 2025. And they say with technology and advancement, things should get better. I think we're getting pulled farther and further apart. We're getting pulled further and further apart where we losing that community, that fellowship, that camaraderie, that sense of connection. And what's going to save us will not be AI, will not be robotics. Imagine this. I know y'all get tired of me talking about land, but turn the channel. I'm going to keep talking about land, having that space, buying you some space, and connecting back to nature. Because I keep saying, if you got food, land, shelter, water, and all your medicines growing out there, you got all your food growing out there, you got self-sustainability. When your investment portfolio go down, when the dollar devalue, when all of this stuff happens, but you can go outside and go get your food, go cook your meals. You get a little sick, you get a little cold, you can harvest you some garlic, harvest you some herbs, and you start understanding and tapping into some of those things. Those antioxidants, those natural antioxidants work better with no side effects. And yeah, you might poop a little bit, you might cough up a little bit, your eyes might get a little water, your nose might run a little bit, but you blow it. You wipe your eyes, you cough up, you hack it up, you spit it out. In this controlled world, we can't do that. When you're out there in the woods, you're out there in the nature, you hack it up, you spit it up, you chew on some mint, and you keep it going. You sweat it out. We don't even want to sweat. We got fans on, we got heaters on. We don't want to be nowhere near uncomfortable. But the body is trying to say, hey, I need to release. I need to heal myself. I need to let this go. We don't want to sweat. We don't want to be cold. We don't want to hurt. We don't want to be uncomfortable. We don't want to listen to the signs. We want to be taken away from it immediately in 2025. But guess what we learned before 2025? Resiliency. We learned methods. We learned patterns. We absorbed those learning patterns. And guess what we were able to do? We were able to learn and grow from that situation. We became resilient. We became not needy, not wanting. We began to sustain ourselves. We got stronger. We used our muscles. We burned calories. We sweated. We got a little stinky. We got a little moist. We slept good. We got a little sore from squatting and bending and moving. But guess what? We could run. We could play tag, play hide and go seek, not run out of breath. And if we did run out of breath, we feel like it was a badge of honor. He smiled. I can't even breathe. I can't even breathe. Even laughter. Sometimes we walk, we don't see people smiling no more. Just shining, glowing. We mean mugging. We hard. We bad. Somebody say something to us, we got our finger on the trigger, bumping to us. We don't even share manners. We don't share none of that stuff. Some people say Southern hospitality is dead. You see a queen walking behind you, and you open up the door, and she might be 5 or 6 steps behind you, and then you don't even stand there and hold the door for the queen or for the princess. And then when the princess get there, I got it. You ain't got to stand there and hold the door for me. I got it. It's just showing reverence to your amazingness. It's just giving a little give back to human and society. Is there a right or wrong? There's no right or wrong, but it's just being kind. When last time you had a day of kindness where everywhere you went, somebody showed you an act of kindness? You went to the store, people were kind to you. They opened up the door to you. They spoke to you. They seen you lifting, getting ready to lift something. They helped you lift something, whether you're a man or woman. They smiled. You came in the store. They said, welcome. Thank you for coming in. Good to see you. Can we help you with anything? Oh, I'll go ahead and pull that. Matter of fact, we just got a shipment in. Let me go ahead and get the freshest off the back because I haven't stocked yet. I'll go ahead and take care of that for you. And I'll meet you around. You're going to get some bread? Okay, I'll meet you around on the bread aisle. I'll bring that to you. Thank you. Oh, we'll get somebody. You get a bad guy. Come around, take your groceries off your cart. Load it on the conveyor belt. Come around, bring your cart around. Or get another cart because you got so much on that cart and load up that cart. Smiling face. Glad to see you because they know because you here, they can work and they can have a job. They're appreciative of you. You don't have to tell them, don't put the coal with the dry goods or with this or that. They already double bagging heavy stuff. They don't overbag, right? They don't put your tissue with the frozen items. They don't put your chicken in with maybe your toothbrush. You know what I'm saying? They pay attention. They care about what they're doing. Then they bag it, then they wait for you. They ain't like, oh, you come on. Oh my God, you knew you were coming to the register. Why you ain't got your card out? Why you not ready? Why your phone ain't out? They like, so you doing pretty good today? Oh, take your time, take your time. The person behind you ain't frustrated, ain't flustered, because they ain't pressured. Because they came to town, they happy. They good. It used to be a world like that, fam. You had maybe a small few that was buttholes. But the majority of the people, they welcome you. When you walked on those paths, there was adults out there walking too. Because everybody didn't have cars. And I remember Mr. Slim. Mr. Slim on the south side of town, he had a deuce and a quarter. He had a photo, probably a 1972, 71 Buick Electra, 225. It was brown with a cream top, and it had cream interior, but you didn't sit on the seats. He had like this plastic covering that was like it had the mumps, and it was all over it. And you sat on that plastic covering, and if you had your tank top on, or if your shirt rolled up, you'll stick to the back of the seat. And he had these little, I don't know what it was in the back of the furry, fluffy stuff sitting in the back dash. And but we would pay Mr. Slim to take my big mama, me, and we were all different families and different people. Some sat in the front. It was bench seat in the back. Bench seat, you lift the armrest. We all sat in there. It'd be about 3 children in one person seating. And he didn't go 80 miles per hour. He went about 20, 25 miles per hour. We took our time going over the railroad track as we were going to the grocery store. And we was all packed in that bad boy, and it was different families and different people. And we all had to give them the adults gave him maybe $1 or $2 to take him to the store. Mr. Slim carried a brim. He had a brim. He had a toothpick in his mouth. He had that brim to the side. He drove that deuce and a quarter, and he drove it with one hand. And he took us to the grocery store, and he sat on that Buick, leaned on that Buick the whole time, and cut up and switched the key back and turned the radio on. And he sat out there in that Buick until Big Mama and all the women folks and the kids went into the store and went grocery shopping. And this happened once a month. And we would fill up the buggies. My Big Mama, she was a cake maker. We always had to buy pecans. We had to buy different creams and different lard and all that kind of stuff. And because she made money, you know, selling fruit, selling vegetables, and her cakes. Her cakes, she had 3 full-length kitchen tables in her house. And they were always full of cakes. And people would come by and they would buy the cakes from my Big Mama. My Big Mama would sell the cakes in the neighborhood. And holiday time, she had everything covered. Living room covered with cakes, everything covered with cakes. And I remember we used to get the spatula once she's done, and we'll lick the spatulas. And she had a little mix of prongs. And boy, that was a highlight because we had to wash dishes, but we was like, leave a little bit on there, Big Mama. She'll leave a little bit of that with it. And boy, that was the highlight of our life. Even though we still had to wash the dishes, we didn't mind. We wanted to wash the dishes because that icing, that little small little things, we would just sit and wait all day for that opportunity. And we'll go outside and play after we did that and wash the dishes, and we'll talk about it, we'll laugh, and we'll talk about how good it was, and we'll play games, and we'll play makeup games, and we'll pretend that we were certain famous singers and actors and all that stuff. We'll take a stick and it become the microphone. You know, we'll play sword, we'll take a stick and we'll do that. We'll build houses, we'll take all the tin and all the wood and we'll build a house, and we knew we had to tear it down at the end of the day and put that stuff back in the burn pile and the trash pile and all that stuff. Them were the days. But I don't think we're going to get them back no more. I don't think that our kids can tap into that portion of ingenuity and creativity that we have forgotten about because we are so caught up into going to work, coming to work, going to eat, picking up, taking, dropping off, going here, checking our phone, looking at our phone, swiping, going to sleep, waking up, swiping, going here, doing this, doing that. And we have lost the sense of family and community. I don't know what happened, fam. But what do we need to do going forward? We need to learn some of those skills in 2025. And then we need to share some of those skills, and we need to share them with our youth and get them to try it. We need to decompress and unplug and give just a little bit of time to just fellowship, interaction. Can you hold an hour conversation with your youth, with your nephews? Because it was a village. My uncle spent time with me. My uncles, I had different uncles. They all spent time with me in different phases of my life. Now sometimes uncles don't even talk to their nephews, to the nieces, or none of that stuff. Couldn't even hold a conversation with them. Don't even know outside of asking them how they've been doing and what's going on and what you've been up to. Can't even have a conversation. That community, fam. That sense of that community. And I know I've been going out there. I see a lot of ones. Miss Shirley, OG, I know you feel me. You 53. Okay, I ain't know that. Okay. Channel 56. I feel you. MHW, yep. Needed pliers to change the channel. Come on. Got our cereal, yep. Saturday morning with a bomb. Get up early Saturday morning. Get in front of that TV. Oh my goodness. Is this for men only? This for all of us, fam. Even women used to help a man when he coming through, get his arms full of stuff, and you know he got to come through the door. Even women used to open up the door for you, or even look at compassion and say, man, that bro got an arm full of stuff. Let me help you with it. And then they'll be like, no, I got it. The door hit them all in the back of the head and everything. They trying to be all manly, got it together. It used to be community, you know, where Mama or grandma, mother used to prep the house before old daddy got home. Used to be thinking about what old daddy would like when he get home. They ain't had no cell phone. They used their imagination. They knew who lived with them. They knew that the day was Monday. It's probably a rough day going back to work. Probably a lot going on. They knew what probably would pick them up. What kind of good, rich meal would probably be there. They knew that. And I get it. Most of the time we all working. These days just to pay the bills, everybody gotta be working 2 and 3 jobs. I get it. But I keep saying, get your taste of this country. Get your taste of this country. If you start spending a little time growing your little something, doing your little something, you might find where you might don't need as much stuff as you think you need. You start spending a little bit more time outside, you might not need certain accounts and certain subscriptions like you think you might need. You might not need that new updated controller, and you might see that you might have a little bit more folder money because now you're growing your own stuff, and now you might have spent 50, 60 cents, and now you got about $100 worth of goods out there. And now you do a little canning, a little preserving, and you might see that you might have a little folder money in there, and you might not need that second job. You start to feel a bit better. You might not need that extravagant health care that you're paying extra for this and extra for that, because your health might be getting a little bit better. And you start getting a little bit more mobile, a little bit more agile, and you start to notice that you might not need to pay a little extra for this or for that. It may just change your life if you get your little space and get your little environment where you can start building and cultivating and taking care of your family and making sure you're taking care of not only your family. When you start living in abundance and then you got more than you can even absorb or even pack away, now you begin to overflow. And in the overflow, you start sharing amongst your community, amongst your people. Then they might not mind speaking to you in the morning when you say, good morning, how you doing? Hey, good morning. That's a given individual. They really share. I really look forward to when they have harvest time because they do share. Things start to hit a little bit different because you're not so panicky, you're not so scared, you're not so focused on stuff you can't control anyway. You start looking at these are some assets that I got at home that they produce better than a dividend. When I eat a piece of fruit, when I crack into an apple, or when I chew on some celery, or when I eat my own salad out of my garden, when I cook my own collards, when I eat my fresh potatoes or tomatoes, all of a sudden, I don't know, I feel a little bit better. My energy level seems to be up a little bit more. And I think I will build that deck. I think I will reinforce that fence. I think I will go and cut that back half of that piece of property. I think I will go ahead and plant a few more trees. I don't know. Your life might just hit a little bit different. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. TV magazine. I remember them days. See you, Queen. I see you. Got them T's in the chat. Dorothy says, my grandfather nicknamed pennies hot dog money. Man, we had a place that was in town, and they sold the best hot dogs. Now, they say they were nasty, but OMG, them was some good hot dogs, man. And I'm telling you, what I can get a hot dog, and I love this the kind of hot dog I like. I'm a plain guy. There was a hot dog that I would get ketchup and diced up onions. And that hot dog, it was sauteed, diced up onions. And OMG, man. And it was a good hot dog, man. The smell, the bun was good, man. You would run out of hot dog, you still eating the bun. And the bun was warm. Hot dog was hot. The steam coming off the onions, and then you got that little nice little slither of ketchup going across there. They had slaw dogs, chili dogs. Oh man, they had all kinds, man. They even had the cheese and chili French fries. And man, they had a smell that would light up the whole downtown. Yeah, technology, family, man. Ain't nothing wrong with technology, family, man, but sometimes we gotta tap into just basics, fam. So that when we come on challenges, physical challenges, we can learn how to apply things. What happened to when we could apply things? Like when you played with things and you put things together and you toyed with things and you patch things together. When something else that you never encountered went awry or tore up, you can apply some of them same principles, some of them same motor skills to something now that could save you thousands of dollars and months of frustration on waiting on somebody to come to you and schedule a time. Then you pay a deposit, and then you done paid your deposit or you paid down and you still waiting. And then they put somebody behind you or in front of you. And then the next thing you know, they say they'll be there anywhere between 9 to 6 o'clock tonight. And then they don't show up because something came up. And then they got to schedule for next week. And meanwhile, you still haven't without, but it's something that you probably could apply your experience and your motor skills on something you did before, and you can apply it to that, and you probably could have fixed it yourself. And then when they come there, and it's of course never the right time. And then you got to be there because you're at the mercy. You done took off some of your time, and then you really need that time for when your child is sick and for when something like that. Now you done did that, and you done use your whole days. And then they didn't show up. Now you scheduled for another day. Now you're trying to play with work and you're trying to teeter-totter back. And then you end up having to go ahead and take some more time. And then your boss looking at you sideways like you need to work this, you need to get it together. Then you get there. And then they say, oh, I ain't got the part. I didn't know it was this kind. I got to reschedule something. And the nearest time I got is next month or 2 or 3 weeks from now. And then they got to order the part. When the part come in, you don't know when the part come in. You trying to be transparent. You trying to work out. Then your child gets sick in the middle. Then you go take your child. You pull your child out of daycare. And the daycare said, we ain't going to take your child until your child get cleared to the doctor. Then you got to take the child to the doctor. Then you take the child to the doctor. You got to get the appointment. Then you got to take some more time off in your job. You're eating up days. And then now you're here. You go to the doctor's office. They see you for 5 minutes. They write you a prescription. Then you go down, you get the prescription, you wait in line, and then you tell you your copay is $34 because this is that. And then you go there and you come back, and then they say, hey, I'm at your house. I'm waiting on you to go ahead and install. If you ain't here in the next 15 minutes, we're going to have to reschedule for another 2 weeks. Yeah, all of that, man. When it used to be like, hey, Mr. Fred, my refrigerator's down. Hey, okay, I'll be there. I got a couple of things I'm working on, and I'll be down there this afternoon because I gotta install this for Miss Bessie over here, and then I'll be down there because I don't want y'all to be without, because I know you got kids in the house, and y'all got them kids, and I don't want them to not have no milk. I don't want nothing to go spoil because, man, we work too hard for this, and stuff is high as the dickens. And I'll be by there this afternoon. I'll work a little bit late, and he come by, and he actually come by, and he said, yeah, I remember the last time when I looked at your stove, I saw you had that refrigerator, and I know Mr. Perkins over there had a refrigerator over there like that, and there's a couple of people had it. So he had a part, and I went ahead and bought that refrigerator for him. I took that part off of there, and I went ahead and brought it because I kind of figured what was going on with it because you told me what was going on with it. But now, we look at people like that, and it started out with a conversation that you said, hey, how you doing? I'm doing pretty good. What's your name, girl? I don't know you. What's your name, young man? I don't know you. I'm such and such. Oh, you can kin to such and such and this. And it started out with a conversation. And now Mr. Fred is your hero because you had that conversation. You weren't impatient. You got to know Mr. Fred. Mr. Fred got to know you. He knew your kinfolk. He knew your folk. And then get what, you found out Mr. Fred fixed on appliances. Next thing you know, Mr. Fred is there for you, and you use Mr. Fred. You're not going over here getting somebody from God knows where, ordering on an app, and then you put it in an app and you don't know what's going to happen. Then they send your schedule and it's bogus. Yeah, all of that. We got away from that. And somehow we feel like we're in a better situation. And there's no humanality to this thing. There's no compassion to this thing. There's no bonding. There's no connection to this thing. And we say we're in a better place. Technology is great, hands down. Don't get it twisted. But somehow we got to diversify. I know y'all get tired of that word. We got to diversify what we're doing. We got to sometimes, like I said, you got to put on some clothes, just the hair or just the hat, the bonnet, whatever. Maybe put on a little, brush your teeth, put some up under your arms, and then drive down to the nearest convenience store. And then not convenience store, but local business. That local business, they come there, they want to have a conversation with you. You talk to them, and then you tell them, hey, I want to buy this. Well, I ain't got that, baby. Oh, man, I wish I had that, baby. But I can order it. And then you say, okay, go ahead and order it for me, Mr. Jim. Okay, or Miss Sally, go ahead and order that for me. How long it's going to take? Well, I always put in my orders on a Wednesday, but in your case, I go ahead and try to get it this afternoon, and it's going to take about 2-3 days, and you be like, okay, I'll do it. I'll wait. Do I need to pay you now? I'll pay you later. No, wait till I get it. Make sure it's the right part. Make sure everything all right. Then you go and you get back in your car and you go back home and you wait them 2 days. And then next thing you know, you go, then that next couple of days, you go down to the part there, you get the part, and then you come back home. Now, this is the contrast. Dang, I need this part. Let me go online. Boom, click, click, click. It's going to take 2 days for Amazon to bring it or whoever reputable dealer to bring it. Boom, it's going to take a couple of days. Then somebody going to deliver it. God knows who's coming to my house. God knows what they drive and whatever. And then they come in there, and then what if it ain't the right part, it's the wrong part? Then you got to go back, you got to put in a claim online, and then they got to send you a box, and then they got to send you a label. Then when they send you a label, you come back there, and then you put it in the box, and then you put the label on there. Then you got to go down to the store, and then you got to go to the main drop off, and then you go to the main drop off, and you send it off, and then hope that you get the right thing when you could have just went down to the store a couple of days, and then now you pouring into your local community. Yeah, it took a couple of days. Yeah, it was inconvenience. I had to go put on my slippers and get in the car and drive down here. But you know what you're doing? He got somebody back there in the back working with him. Once a week. You remember when we used to have a part-time job, when you said these new part-time jobs, they're a joke. They want all of you. We're gonna work you for about 25, 30, 35 hours, just enough not to pay you full benefits. And then we're gonna fluctuate your hours where you don't have. It used to, when you had a part-time job back in the days, you had a schedule. You told them your availability. They didn't shun you down. Now these part-time jobs, we won't even consider you unless you say I'm available for any time, any shift, any day. Because they want to get all of you without paying the benefits of you. It's kind of like living with somebody where they're getting all the goods, all the sexual goods, all the benefits, all the jobs, but they ain't willing to put a ring on it. That's the same thing with these part-time jobs. They want to fluctuate your hours, have you coming in at 11 o'clock tonight, have you coming in at 7 o'clock one day, have you coming in at 3 o'clock. Guess what you can't do when you got all over the place? You can't get another part-time job to help you compensate or to allow you to make a little bit of extra money, or you can't even have a full-time job with a part-time job because they're not flexible. And then they got an automated system to tell you your work schedule, and your manager, you don't even talk to your manager about your work schedule. You go put in a thing for your app. And then the app chooses the best availability, not based on you and your lifestyle or you and your family or what's best for that situation to make you be there for long term, to make you be there where you can actually learn something, learn to be a valuable employee. But what it does, it says, I'm going to look at what's convenient for me and my corporate to make the maximum amount of money. And this app and all this automation will have, I expect a high turnover rate. I expect for people to come. I expect for people to go. I expect to fire people. Matter of fact, the app will fire them for me. All of a sudden, you can't clock in. You go and you be like, go in the app. You be like, hey, why my thing ain't coming in? Oh, you been let go. You came in late through such and such time. Wait a minute. I talked to you about what was going on. I can't help. Okay, I-10, 75, whatever was shut down. I couldn't help out. Well, the system and the HR protocol said, well, you're going to have to put in a claim on the app, and then they'll make a decision, and they'll say, okay, we'll rehire you, but they give you no hours. No human. No compassion. You still got children to take care of. You still got bills to pay. And then now we watch the workforce say, screw you. We watch the workforce say, it's all about myself. I'm all getting myself. They learned it from the corporations. I ain't committed to nothing. Y'all ain't committed to me. I'm out for myself. And then the wealthy and the rich people just say, fine, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. We're going to get as many profits as we can, and we're going to squeeze it as long as we can. We're going to run this business to failure. And when it runs to failure, we're going to pick something else and try something else again. Meanwhile, your community is struggling. It can't self-sustain itself. The barbers ain't got no heads to cut. The mechanics ain't got no cars to work on. You know what I'm saying? The furniture stores don't have nothing. The local drug stores don't have nothing. All of this. And then you watch these communities just crumble, 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 crumble. Moving on to 2025, what if we all start getting a little piece of space? And we all start combining our resources, and we start building communities again. We start self-sustaining communities again. Yeah, it might be physical labor. Yeah, we might have to share some eggs. Sometimes we ain't got no money. Yeah, sometimes we might have to share some vegetables. We ain't got no money. Sometimes we might need to give some gas, or give some tokens for some gas, or pay for somebody's gas, or pay it for it. Sometimes we might have to get in the same car and go to town to consolidate our resources, and then maybe go to Costco together. We all chip in, and then we all break it apart. Sometimes we might have to get a community bus and ride the bus and go to Walmart or go to all these big old stores, Sam's and all that. And sometimes we might have to ride the bus together, but we own the bus. The community own the bus. We gas up the bus together. We all buy coolers, and we all stack up the coolers. And now we divide all the beef and all the steaks and all the vegetables, and we do all of that. Maybe we should try some of that. Maybe we should get back to how the basics were. Well, we had time to teach our kids. We're not concerned about DEI or none of that stuff because we got our own curriculum. Maybe we could teach our kids, and the stuff that they don't quite get and grasp, maybe we can spend a little bit more time on that lesson and rehash that lesson, and then look at creative ways that we can allow that child to really absorb and learn and get it down what they might have been missed or passed through, where it don't become a precedent throughout their whole educational career. Maybe instead of doing something on the app, we can go outside and walk the woods and pick up organic material, and then take a culture, and then take a magnifying glass and look at it and learn something from that. And then we might create some amazing soil, amazing compost pile where we can apply to our garden and share it with some of our neighbors in our community, and then be like showing our successes versus other things. Or maybe when our neighbor go out of town, we might look after their animals, may water their plants, and let them relax and not worry about whether somebody gonna come and steal and take, or whether something gonna die or overgrow their garden that they done put all that toil and revenue and resources in. Maybe we can just share a little of our talents amongst each other. Maybe we can even build a gas station. Yeah, you might have to shed an acre or two. Maybe we can buy gas in volume. And instead of them high rates, the rate upon rate upon rate, maybe we can just get a big old tanker. And maybe we could buy an old tanker and then fill up the tanker with gas. And then we all go there and we pay a little bit of money, whatever it takes to fill it up. And we all chip in, and maybe we can drive our car by there and fill it up off of that tanker. Maybe we could try that. Maybe we could just try that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Be kind and rewind. I remember that. What's up, Resilient Dad? What's going on, man? Good to see you, man. Yeah, I mean, maybe Sylvia, what's going on? Oh, you remember that, Resilient? Wasn't nothing better than shop classes. That's what I'm saying, man. What happened? Can you imagine, Resilient Dad? Can you imagine if we kept that momentum? You know, the telephone. I remember some school had telephone, like they worked on telephones, they worked on TVs. Man, I remember going when we played games at other schools and we would go on tours and watch the other schools. Some of them technical schools, I mean, not the high school, I'm talking about high school, I ain't even talking about technical school. They used to have TV class where they worked on TVs. They worked on the telephones. They were learning cables, how to splice cables. They learned how to do true electrical. I remember one school I went to, I can't remember, it was in Georgia. They were learning how to transform. They had a transformer to be on the telephone pole, cut in half. And I didn't even know it had oil all in them things until I went to the school. It had all kinds of, they had to cut through, and then the local businesses would donate supplies to the technical schools because they were in the community, and they knew that if these students learned at a young age, they would be possible future employees, and they would expedite the onboarding and the learning curve if you went through some of the programs. And some of these businesses used to hire you and give you free lunch, or they'll give you a gift, or if you work for them, they'll give you an opportunity to work at their job part-time. Can you imagine if we did that in 2025? Can you imagine if we took a small town and then the county said, and the city says, we want to attract this particular business. And this business said, I'm looking for a place, a mid-level, small-level company say, hey, I'm trying to grow. I'm looking for a place. And yes, you're going to get cheaper labor here, but the labor was like the bomb in that community because you could afford a house, you could afford a car off of one income. You can afford retirement off of one income. Yeah, in that community. And guess what they did? They said, if y'all work on getting us some land out here and we'll build the place and you give us some, maybe a few tax breaks or something. And then we'll also pour into the community. We'll help the hospitals. We'll help the nonprofits. We'll help all of that. We'll be a part of the community, and we'll reach back into the schools, and we'll do stuff on career day, field day. We'll come out. We'll donate a little something. What happened? The baseball team, little league team, football team, we come back and we give. Because y'all giving to us. You pouring into us, we pouring into you. 2025, why I couldn't hit like that now? Why we couldn't even develop our own community? You get 5 acres, 10 acres, 20 acres, 30 acres. After a while, we'll have enough for a little city, a little town. But it calls for sacrifice. Somebody got to first put down the deposit. Somebody first got to cut the first road. Well, you come and benefiting off of me. I done did this, and you need to pour it. Let's get past that, fam. There were some people who poured more than others. Some of them had more to pour, but they looked at the bigger picture. They looked at the bigger picture. And I don't know. It could be a fairy tale, but it was real. It was solid. Showed me a lot. Me too. To this day, I'm still utilizing it, man. My teacher used to come to the house before we started school just to build the in-house relationship with the parents and the students. When it was time to get my butt whooped, they didn't have no problems. They knew my mom. They knew my mom. They knew that she wasn't gonna be favorable for me showing my butt at school, and they had no qualms and no problems coming talking to my mom because they knew what was going down. You know what I'm saying? The humanness. That's what I'm talking about. Truth. People don't know how to communicate on the phone. People too busy texting. It will get worse if people don't teach and train. Doesn't matter anymore. That's the question. Because when you look at it, it looks like it doesn't even matter no more. And some people don't even see the value in it, in compassion and caring. Some people don't see the value in it until we all looking for a job, looking for a place to stay, stuff moving too fast. You got the haves and the have-not, and the gap is getting bigger. And then all of a sudden, we're going to be trying to figure out what in the world going on, and why didn't we focus on this when we were okay? Why didn't we focus on this infrastructure when we was okay? It was out of my garden today. I noticed a plant growing strong in winter. Mint. I love my mint. My mint doing good too. Dorthex. People won't even give you an eye-to-eye contact. We don't feel each other. We don't want to feel each other. We want to avoid each other. Matter of fact, we will work harder to avoid each other rather than interact with each other. And I'm sorry, I'm not skipping everything, but I'm trying to bring this to a close because I've been on here just going on that memory lane. But I was thinking, fam, we could get that back. I know we could. But it's going to cause for sacrifice. It's going to cause for us to kind of, as my good friend said, put that cell phone down for a little while. Put that smart device down for a little while. It's going to cause for some intentional planning. And you don't have to do it with a bunch of people. It could just be with a few. Just with a few. And people are notorious for copycat, what we call copycat. Because it starts with you, one small family or one small tribe. Next thing you know, you start seeing your successes. You start seeing it. Somebody gonna copycat. And that's good. That's good. When the last time you heard age before beauty, you go further. They don't even talk like that no more, man. People get offended off of that. Yes, there was a world like that. Resilient, what you did, man? Good. Man, come on, Resilient. Man, I appreciate that, man. Man, much respect. Man, God bless you, man. Community, baby. You best believe I'm going to invest it right back into the land, baby, so that I can help generations to come and generations to go. I appreciate that, man. Much love, man. Resilient, you still did it again, man. Come on, bro. Thank you, bro. Man, appreciate that. Appreciate it. You got me sweating now, man. Thank you, man. But we can get that back, fam. We can get it back. Yes, reading would take you to another world. And actions will too. Valuable content for truth. We should use. All we gotta do is stop talking about it and be about it, fam. That's all we gotta do. Let's stop talking about it and be about it. Let's start making our moves, man. What's up, B Rich? What's going on? You little lucky fella, you. Notice I said lucky, which we know it ain't luck. You put in the work, baby. You put in the work. Now it's time to touch them fruits of the labor, baby. Motivate others, inspire others to go do what you're doing, man. That's what I'm talking about. Take it to another level, man. Proud of you. Proud of you. Proud of you, big bro. Keep going. Keep going. Keep motivating others. Keep inspiring others, man. D Jackson said, this part-time jobs are ridiculous. Yeah. You know, you now you're doing a part-time job. You're running a whole outfit. Y'all know I shared now these days. Back in the days, a general dollar store would have had about 20 people in there. This automation got us working harder and making less. Now, how in the world you would have had a store producing like General Dollar back in the day? You would have had 20 people. People stocking. You would have had multiple stockers. Let's go through a General Dollar. You probably would have had 5 stockers and multiple shifts. You would have had 2 people on the register minimum. And if it got real busy, they would have called some people. You would have had a bagger, somebody that took things out. to come and bag your stuff. At least one or two of those, one per register. You would have had two of those. You would have had a manager. You would have had an assistant manager. You would have had a lead in every position, a lead cashier. You would have had a lead stocker. You would have had a produce manager because they got some produce in there. That way they can keep it fresh, keep it clean, wiping down the vents and cleaning the vents and mopping and making sure you got some Clorox in there, making sure you rotate the vegetables, making sure you rotate the produce. You would have had, what else we had? A janitor slash maintenance person. That person would have gone around. If lights out, they would have fixed the lights. Something out in the parking lot, a sign is broken. Some need paint out there, or somebody hit a marker or a sign. They would be fixing the sign. Somebody hit the side of the building. They'll be fixing the side of the building. The cooler went out. They'll be doing whatever they could do with the cooler. They'll be changing the mop heads out in the mop head buckets. They would have been wiping down the tiles in the roof and washing down the backboards and the back end of the refrigerator and working on the cash register and keeping everything clean, mopping the floor, putting the wet floor sides down. You would have had all of them people in one store. And now you got two people max, sometimes three if you're lucky, in a Dollar General, and they're doing it all. They're doing it all. Now, is they doing it good? The bathrooms would have been clean, would have been fresh at all times. You wouldn't have had them all locked up because somebody be there to monitor people. You know, somebody be probably there to greet them. The store manager would have been there at all times. There would have been either the store manager or assistant store manager. They'll make sure people doing what they're doing, making sure the customers are pleasantly treated and speak to you. Sometimes they may even walk your groceries out or load your car. Dollar General, now they got 2 to 3 people running the whole entire thing. And you talk about quality, you talk about rotating fresh vegetables, and you talk about all this stuff. Come on, fam. You can't even walk down the aisles in some of them because people ain't stocking. They trying to run the cash register. They trying to load the cigarettes up, and then they trying to put stuff on the shelf. Meanwhile, if a spill come, they mopping up the spill, and then they helping unloading the truck all at the same time while checking you out. And they getting paid pennies. And the store owners getting richer and richer by the minute. They getting paid $40 and $50 per second. And they want quality service and great work and dedicated workers and people to just go above and beyond. Why they treating them like that? What happened? And with them 20 people, the prices people still could afford. So stop with this stuff corporations about, if we do all of that, then the prices of the goods will go up. No. What'll happen is your profit margin will be reduced a little bit, but you still ain't hungry. You still ain't hurting. You still making millions upon millions of dollars. And it's okay. What's wrong with investing into the people? What's wrong, fam? Oh, man. Anyway, fam, I appreciate y'all being with me. Man, y'all, thank y'all for y'all support. Be rich, resilient dad. Man, come on, man. Much love to y'all. Thank y'all so much for pouring your love, support. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate y'all coming. What's up, Brother Lawrence? Wagon, what's going on? Good to see you too as well. And if I miss y'all, it's not intentionally. Trust me, it's not intentionally. I really appreciate every one of y'all. And I appreciate your comments. I appreciate everything you do. Some of y'all said I shop at a store that is a little higher in price, but the cashier always asks, how is your day going? And have a conversation while checking you out. And it's okay to take a little time. I understand sometimes we don't have time to do that all the time, but let us not forget about some of those stores. Let us not forget about some of our small local businesses. Let us not. We got a lot of fires that have happened, a lot of hurricanes that have happened, and some of these small businesses will not come back. They're gone. They will not come back. Let us think about them. Let us also remember, if they do start a little small community store somewhere else, let us go out our way and support them. Because these are the people who hire our teenagers. These are the people who hire our retirees that still need some extra money. These are the people who add value to the ones that may not be in all of that college degree. Nothing against that, but some people just they wasn't designed for that. They was just more technical, more hands-on. This provides a good place, a good footing for them, so they won't lead to obtaining goods and services in another way that they probably should. So they wouldn't go lacking, because they deserve the same thing that somebody making millions of dollars. They deserve the same thing. Sometimes they deserve better because they're doing more service. Some of the poorest people help more people than some of the richest people. Some of the people that's struggling do more for everyday people than the people just living fat. Some of the people living fat live such an isolated life that they wouldn't even know who to reach out to or who to trust or who to know how to apply, because they're so disconnected. So let us not forget about that sense of community. And if you don't have that sense of community, why not think about cultivating that, starting in your own household, starting with your own kids, starting with your mom, your parents, cohabitate. Maybe even if you can't cohabitate, stand each other long enough, maybe start taking trips together. Start growing a little garden together. Start sharing a little something. Start reading some books together. Start enhancing some of your skill sets. Learning a little something that's going to take you to the next 2025 and beyond. So why not consider some of these things, fam? You know I love you. That's the only reason why I'm saying it to you. But I'm hoping that you're motivated to keep on growing. And until the next time, y'all stay well, stay blessed, and don't forget to keep on growing. Much love to y'all. Until the next time, y'all have a blessed night. Miss Red, what's going on? Art Mays, what's going on? Good to see y'all. Take care. Until the next time. Peace. Thank you again.